Hoff, and with me today we have
Amillia White, and we are Beyond the Grave. Today we are going to be talking about the hauntings of Iowa, starting with Coe College and finishing with Fairview Cemetery. To give us more insight about Coe College, Bree?
All right. In the year of 1918, a young woman named Helen Esther Roberts passed away only 3 weeks after beginning her education at Coe College. Isn't that just crazy? Just full on starts out like that. Boom! Only 3 weeks in. And she died at the age of 18.
That is crazy. That's people always say that that's the beginning of your life. Your life's just now starting.
Yes, that is basically.
Wow.
Putting myself in her shoes.
That's crazy.
Yes, that is absolutely crazy.
So sad.
Moving on, she was a first-year student from Strawberry Point, actually. And it's just so sad how she just turned into an adult, starting her life, starting her own things, and all of a sudden, she just...
Yeah.
But she fell ill, actually, due to the Spanish flu epidemic. And this story includes a history of how Coe College has kind of been affected since. Including paranormal activity, just everything that has changed ever since she's died. But it has been 100 years precisely since they believed her soul had left campus.
Oh.
And on the date of October 19th, 1918, the college announced that 18-year-old Helen Esther Roberts passed away of Spanish influence-induced pneumonia, and the epidemic had continued for several weeks. And by October 24th, 2,375 cases were reported throughout the city of Cedar Rapids.
That's crazy. I didn't even know there was a Spanish flu epidemic, especially not in Iowa. But that's really crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
And that many people,
I know.
That's a lot.
And then Helen was buried in Strawberry Point, Iowa, so her hometown, with college professor Dr. Charles T. Hickok and her mother in company with her. But her parents decided to donate a handsome grandfather clock to the Voorhees dormitory to help preserve her memory.
That's so sweet.
I know, and the clock is still existing to this day. I found all of this information on the Coe College website. They actually have a picture of the grandfather clock, and it is a rather lovely grandfather.
That really is gorgeous. Wow.
Yes, it is indeed. So, if you want to take a look at this, go to their website, because everything they got on it is right there.
I love how you just got all the information on Coe College, their website.
It's amazing.
That's so
It fascinates me how Coe College provided just this summary and everything about it. It just floors me.
Honestly, that would make me want to go there more. So they were smart doing that, because
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And it says on the website that it was published, if I'm correct, October 16th, 2018. And the research was actually provided by Associate Professor of History, Bethany Keenan.
Nice.
So, yes. Awesome. I will say, my mom has been a student at Coe before. I'm not sure how long, but if I'm right, she stayed in the Voorhees dormitory. And
oh, wow.
She hasn't had any, too much paranormal activity, but she's had, people, she knows, friends, colleagues that just have experienced really weird stuff.
Yeah, I think my mom told me that her boss, she was actually from Strawberry Point as well, but she also went to Coe. And I believe she actually stayed at the same dorm.
That's crazy.
But, yeah, I remember her telling me that her and her friends would, they would play with Ouija boards and stuff, so it's probably not the best idea, but...
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely some ghost activities going on at Coe. It's kind of crazy. Especially because it's just right there, it's on First Avenue.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
That really is a beautiful campus, though.
It is. It is a rather lovely campus. I've been there before for some band rehearsals, recordings. It is a rather old building, but it is lovely. It is most definitely lovely.
I know. Like I went to the gallery for like an art show. They're like the buildings are gorgeous, but they're really old.
Yeah.
So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like more hauntings.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But here's some more. And some encounters with Helen have included sightings of like a figure or especially a brisk cold breeze whenever someone were to walk past that grandfather clock. And I'm pretty sure my mom did say like she's walked past it before and she didn't really experience anything, but it was just this weird feeling and tension in the air.
Yeah.
It wasn't like alarming, but she could sense something.
Yeah.
But with that grandfather clock, not just that, but students would receive phone calls with the voice of a weak girl on the other end.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I know. I should have dug in deeper and see like if they could make out any words being said, but I've heard that's been happening like frequently off and on.
That's so terrifying.
How would you like to just wake up and receive a phone call and it's just a weak girl on the other end? You have no clue who she is, no clue what she's saying.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying. Like that would throw you off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goodness, imagine you're just trying to relax and that happens. Oof.
Yeah. And then Voorhees women have actually reported many times about being locked out of their rooms. Yeah, in that dorm specifically. And that's also the dorm she stayed in. And like women and students have just reported just such paranormal activity within this area. Like they said electrical items would randomly turn on and off unexpectedly.
Oh.
They're like, oh, well, maybe the building's old. Like, maybe that's some assumptions being made. But at the same time, it occurs so much that you're really not sure. And then some students said that pictures would even fall off the walls. Or out of the blue, things would get knocked over. It was just a whole mess. And it still happens, apparently, according to the website.
So most of these, like, encounters are happening, like, where she lived, like, in her dorm?
Yeah. I don't know if it's her dorm specifically, but it's in this vicinity.
Yeah.
And then another rumor is that Helen disapproved of men visiting the women's dorm.
Oh, okay.
And so she would... they said that she was not afraid to let them know. Although she does these things... They say she is known as a friendly ghost in spirit.
Oh, that's sweet.
I know.
I mean, I would assume so, because she was so young.
Yeah, exactly. And then one thing especially is the location of her death. Believe it or not, people aren't actually sure. There's different answers all around. While everyone agrees that she died in Voorhees, the exact location is unknown. And to this day, I tried researching, looking up, just finding what I could, and I'm just getting different answers left to right.
Oh, that's mysterious. That's intriguing.
So that really threw me off.
Yeah.
But most research indicates that she may have died on the second floor, which at the time was used for the infirmary of the Spanish influenza epidemic.
That would make sense.
Yes, that would make sense. But at the same time, they're not sure.
Do they know, like, where she was found?
I couldn't find anything. It didn't give me an exact spot, an exact room. It just said second floor. Yeah. So, not only does that remain a mystery, but the amount of paranormal activity going on just... It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
it's like one big mystery.
Basically. And if I'm correct, people are still, to this day, trying to find out, like, what location she died in. Because, like, there's just that thought. Like, people want to know. They're like, why don't we know? Mm-hmm. I feel like we should know this.
Right?
You know? Exactly. So, that is the hauntings of Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. But now we are going to move on to
the Black Angel of Fairview Cemetery. Ooh. Okay, so the Black Angel of Fairview Cemetery, located in Council Bluffs. The mystery surrounding, like, the hauntings and stuff aren't as interesting as the actual mystery behind the statues and the history behind it. And so I'm going to give a little bit more background on the history behind it instead of the hauntings. So the Black Angel was actually a memorial of Ruth Ann Dodge, a woman who died in 1916. And days before her death, Miss Dodge would tell her daughters about an angel who kept appearing in her dreams.
Really?
Yes. In the dream, Miss Dodge was on a rock shore and saw a small boat approach through mist. At the front of the boat was a beautiful angel who held out a small bowl and spoke softly, encouraging her to drink out of the bowl. Miss Dodge saw the angel 3 times.
3 times?
3 times. She dreamt this exact dream over and over.
And so it was a continuous dream, basically.
I don't know. I don't know if it, started over every time and, he just reappeared and kept telling her, and if it just left off at the same spot. I don't know, but 3 nights is kind of crazy. Same exact dream.
Agree.
Right? Yeah. And actually, on the 3rd night, she finally drank from the bowl, and she told her daughters that she felt transformed into a new and glorious spiritual being.
Really? That is very strange.
Right? I don't know, but, if I was her daughter, I'd be a little bit concerned.
Yeah. Just hearing that concerns me.
Right? Know? Well, and after that, she died, a couple days after she finally drank out of the bowl.
And do they know the cause of her death? By chance,
I think she was just getting, old and, I believe it was natural causes and she passed in her sleep.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Right? So her daughters, because of her dream, they wanted to get a memorial for her, obviously. So they hired Daniel Chester French to create a sculpture of the angel that was inspired by their mother's dream.
Yeah.
Which is the angel in the cemetery. So, if you don't know, which most probably won't, because I didn't before I researched this, but Daniel Chester French, I believe it was after he did this, but he was the one who worked on the frame-seated Abraham Lincoln inside the Lincoln Memorial in D.C.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's done a bunch of other memorials, really famous ones, too.
I did not know that.
That's right? Crazy.
Yeah.
Right? All of this I found it on the Council Bluffs website.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, they believe the angel is cursed, of course.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. They say that if you look into her eyes at midnight, you need to prepare for death to follow soon. Now, I don't know if that means your death or someone you love's death.
So that almost sounds silly.
Right?
Am I wrong?
No, you're so right.
It almost sounds goofy.
Right?
Yeah.
Prepare for death.
At exactly midnight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a movie almost.
Yeah.
Those scenes.
Yeah, like the middle schoolers trying to scare each other.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah. But, right. So because the angel is inspired by her mother's dream, the angel statue is depicted holding one hand out and the other holding a vessel from which water flows.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like a little fountain.
Wow. And I know there's multiple black angels, so
yeah,
is each one of them holding a hand out, or are they different?
No, this one's definitely different, I believe, because there's also one where she's like, I know there's another one somewhere in Iowa where she's like looking out over people.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are a lot of black angels around the world, but there's multiple in Iowa.
That's crazy.
Like, I did not know that.
Neither
but there's like at least 3.
3?
Yeah.
That is a significant amount.
Yeah. Yeah. But, and so that was just about the memorial for the woman. But the statue, when it was being made, it was modeled after Audrey Munson, who is believed to be the most, hold on. She's actually the country's first supermodel.
Really?
Yeah. But, she actually had, she lived a horrible and tragic life.
Like how? What happened?
Well, a little over a decade after the sculpture was finished, Munson was admitted to a hospital for the insane because she tried to commit suicide.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
In the hospital, she had no visitors for 65 years and died at 104 in an unmarked grave.
No visitors for 65 years?
Yeah.
Until the age of 104?
Yes. When I first read that, I genuinely started to tear up because, I couldn't imagine that. That's insane.
No one should have to go through that.
No.
Alone for 65 years. At that point.
It's to me, it's those places were supposed to help those people, and that's just not what they did.
No, exactly.
But, no outside visitors, no friends, no family for 65 years.
I could not imagine being alone for that long.
Especially if she was already in such a rough place to begin with.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but do you see what I mean when I said that the history behind this statue was, more interesting than the hauntings?
Yes, I could definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, these say, the legends I've heard is the stairs change numbers when you go up and down. If you try to take pictures, you can lose your footage.
Wow.
And other stuff like that.
Have you ever...
But I feel like every, haunted spot says that. You know what I mean? Every little, ghost does the same thing.
I personally haven't been to see a black angel before. Have you, by any chance?
No, but I do. The main reason I looked up black angels to begin with was because I know there's some, relatively close to where we are.
Yeah.
And, this was just the first one that popped up. So I was like, that has to be the same one. But then I realized there are so many in Iowa that I actually didn't know which one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I feel like I want to go look at them now. Go see all the different ones. Because I know there's some, all over. And honestly, it's very, I get they're in graveyards. But why does, every graveyard need an angel statue? Especially if they're all reported to have, creepy, eerie experiences surrounding them.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Right? Because another one I looked up, which I didn't even mean to, I thought it was this one, but it was one in Coralville, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they, reported, lights in trees behind the statue, and then, the statue would, follow people with its eyes. Yeah.
It would follow people with its eyes.
Yeah. And some reported it crying, but, they are outside, so it could have just been, rain or, fog.
Or maybe an actual being crying.
Yeah, but who knows? But actually, the Black Angel of Fairview Cemetery has reported to do the same thing with the tears.
Yeah.
And following people. There's also tales of the angel flying off of her pedestal at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying off of her pedestal.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Does it not?
Definitely does. I kind of wonder who reported that one.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Yeah, and like they were doing in the graveyard. But yeah. And okay, so here's another big mystery. So back to how I mentioned Daniel Chester French and all the other memorials that he did. So big and like grand, right? Mm-hmm. There was actually a big ceremony planned for this statue.
Really?
And like, yeah, like showing it, revealing it, putting it up and everything. But it got canceled because the family was embarrassed of the statue.
Embarrassed? Really?
Right?
Yeah.
When I first read that, I was very confused because, like, it's a memorial for their mother, but also they are the ones that had it commissioned and designed in the way that they wanted to, like, and it was, like, inspired by her dream and everything. So I was very confused. And then I couldn't find any more on it. Just that it was, like, a very big ceremony. And I believe the president's wife was invited.
No way.
Yes.
Huh.
I was very confused.
I am very confused.
Yes. Yeah. So, there's more. There's more about the hauntings. Whoever is blessed by her is on the sickly side from then on. So, I don't know what exactly that means, blessed by her. Like,
are they really blessed by her?
Obviously not if they're on the sick side from then on. But yeah.
But
it's definitely interesting. And there's, the cemetery itself is haunted, apparently. And there's feelings of someone walking on your heels when you walk through it.
That is very strange.
Yeah. You know what's also strange is that her husband, General Dodge, haunts their house, which is actually a museum which you can tour. But
really?
he's said to move around the living room of their house, and he'll also yell, like you can hear him talking in the house.
Have people reported like what words or like what they actually have been hearing, or they could just hear like a male's voice?
They could actually hear two men talking, and they believe one of them is Dodge, but they don't know who the other one is. Oh. But I did not see anything about certain words or phrases. But I thought it was very interesting, because it's like, I thought it was interesting because his wife's memorial has like some hauntings behind it and that, and then his house, their house, is haunted, and like he haunts it and everything. And I was like, so what is going on that these people just decided to stay? You know, like their spirits decided to stay.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting. But yeah. Oh, and another little like haunting thing is if you look into her eyes at midnight on the anniversary of her death, you'll have an early demise.
No way.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence or proof?
Nope. Just claims.
Just out there. Yeah, it's just claimed. All right.
Yep. But like, what creepy statue doesn't have that claim? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if you make any statue and then let time pass, especially one in a graveyard, it's gonna get some little mysteries behind it.
Yeah.
Whether they're true or not.
Definitely. All right. Well, that concludes our episode today. We hope you enjoyed it and hope you give us another listen soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for listening.